Sometimes you're going to need absolute precision when it comes to aligning things with each other in relation to each other. Let's have a look at how that works with some examples here. So, for example, these little lines here, if I wanted these to be perfectly in a line, I can roughly arrange them how I want them to be. So let me do that. Okay, that's roughly how I want them to be, but they're not perfectly aligned. So how do we do that? If I select the objects, you have some align options here in your properties panel. If I click on the three dots, you can see there's my entire align panel. Or you can go up to your control panel here. That's if you are in the Essentials Classic workspace. And there you have the same panel. Or you can go to Window, Align, and it brings up the same panel. So we'll just work with the align options in the properties panel here. So I can align things all to the left, center, right, top, middle, bottom. And it will align things based on the most left object, the most center object, the most right object, and so on. I can distribute objects evenly, horizontally and vertically, or all to the right, left, top, and bottom. So here's the distribute here. And then I can distribute with a specific spacing. So let's do a couple of those. So if we want these to be aligned so that they are all in a nice horizontal row, the first thing I'm going to choose is this one, vertical align center. And let me just move them out a little bit so you can see how that works. Okay, so if I've got them totally out like that and I say vertically align center, they all jump into a vertical alignment. Now, if I wanted to distribute them evenly, I could choose this here, which is horizontal distribute center, and now they're perfectly distributed. If I wanted them to be distributed to a specific value, I could say align to key object. So if I choose key object and I say, okay, the center is the key object, I'm going to click on it so that it's got that blue highlight. And now I'm going to say, right, I want these objects to be, let's say, 10 points distributed horizontally. And so now they're exactly 10 points apart from the center of them. It doesn't look like it, but it's basically the gap between them. So because they're slanted, it doesn't look like it, but there's a 10-point gap between each one of those objects. If I increase it to 20, okay, that's it. All right, so this is a way of distributing based on a selected key object. So I'm going to undo until I get back to there. So those are nicely distributed. I'm going to group those. And then let's say we want this and these objects, so the group and those objects to be distributed horizontal align center, vertical align center, and I'm going to group that. And then I'm going to take this, pop it on top, select those two, align center, group, take this, and move it to the front. There's another video that deals with arranging. Select those and align and group. So you can see how very quickly with a line you can make sure everything is perfectly mathematically aligned in relation to other objects. One word of caution here is that when you are designing, sometimes mathematical alignment is not pleasing to the eye. So the way that you should be working, especially with things like logo design and typography, is use your mathematical alignment, in other words, the align panel, to get your initial alignment so that you know absolutely that things are pixel perfect in terms of alignment. Then look at it with your human eye and decide whether that alignment is working. Sometimes you need to just nudge things a little bit so that they read better in terms of their relationship with each other visually. So alignment, using the align panel as a mathematical alignment, it's perfection in terms of pixels and precision. But also you need to sometimes make changes afterwards as well.